Hey, okay, this video is about when your child, a young child, is given a label, and as a parent, what you can do with that, because it's your call. And it's about one of my clients, whom I adore this family. I have known them, they're personal friends, so I've known them for probably 7 years. I've been working with this child for probably 3 years, 3.5 years. So mom was a single mom, and the dad was not a nice person. He was a narcissist. He abused her physically, mentally, emotionally, and sexually. And once the baby was born, in that particular state, he was granted visitation every other weekend, as is very common in most states. And the mom had, you gotta do it. And whenever the baby would go to the dad, horrible things would happen. Horrible things would happen. She would come home, she would take pictures, graphic things. There are no doubt what happened things. Go to the hospital, get in touch with the caseworkers, and it, depending on the state, the community, the county, sometimes you're just barking up a dead tree. It did no good. For years they went through this. He would have behavioral issues, not wanting to visit his dad when he got older. Totally understandable. His father did not care that he injured him physically, mentally, emotionally, and sexually. He could have cared less. He's a narcissist. He's out for immediate gratification. And he lived a very fast and loose lifestyle. And this went on for like 9 years. It was bad. Beautiful, brilliant child. But initially, 3 years ago, well, I didn't even say as far back as 5 years ago, he would behave much, much younger than his age. Good reason. He was diagnosed ADD, ADHD, and he was on the spectrum. Trauma-induced. Trauma-induced. And 2 years ago, due to the father's lifestyle, he died. And now we're left with a little boy who had horrendous emotional scars from just horrific abuse. And with most kids, even though a parent abused them, they still love them and they're still loyal to them. It's just one of those things. So we're dealing with a child who he's on the spectrum, ADD, ADHD. He's been intermittently every other weekend in a horrible, toxic environment. The parent is now dead. We're dealing with grief. We've got our hands full. And he did really well. He had the usual things that you would expect. Nightmares, no real behavioral issues, lots of tears, everything that you would expect. Even going so far as, at times blaming himself. Did his dad die because of something he said or did? No. But that's a child. A child will accept responsibility for all of this. So I introduced music. Mom and her partner, who I love them both, are very musical people. One of the two of them always has music going. So it's not like music is a foreign concept. But I got this little guy. I think they're called a tongue drum. They're like a steel drum. And depending on where you hit the top of the drum, you have different tones. And that made a huge difference. He loves music. And now he would sit in his room and sing. He would write songs, make up songs about all kinds of stuff. He was able to vent and voice his feelings. At school, he had a great teacher, just a wonderful school system. And, you get to bring home instruments. Whatever he brought home, he mastered. And this was when he was like 7, 8, 9. He's just a very gifted young man. So we really stressed music. And it just did wonders. And art. Music and art. And Mom and her partner moved to a different community. Changing schools, different teachers, mainstream classes, very scary. He was going to have a counselor at school. So all of this is just totally new, and we're holding our breath. He did great. I am so proud of him. For the first time ever, he was invited over to a classmate's house as a play date. Not something Mom set up. One of his classmates wants him to come over and hang out. How great is that? That is huge. This is a little boy that was afraid to make friends. Most victims of abuse are afraid to make friends. And, we're just so excited. The new school is outstanding. He's bonded with his counselor. Everything is going good. He's joining clubs at school. He's accepted as one of the guys. It is just makes my heart soar. He has worked so hard. And Mom called me last night, and, end of school year, new school, can be kind of touchy. He's receiving an award for outstanding mathematic achievements. That's big. He doesn't know yet, so that's kind of exciting. I cried. He has been through so much. I just cried. He never gave up. He just kept trying, and he wasn't afraid to trust his mom, her boyfriend, me, his teachers. He would have faith in us. He knew we're not going to let him down. It's okay. It took 6 months, if not longer, before he felt truly safe 24/7, because he's used to going back and forth every other weekend to the toxic environment where abuse would take place. And it took a while to know the abuse is gone, and it's safe to believe that the abuse is gone. It's not going to happen again. And that's when he started to just flourish and come out of his shell and be happy. And he was always a happy child, but he just blossomed, and I am so incredibly proud of him. But he could not have done that without his mom and her partner. They were given the diagnosis when he was very young, ADD, ADHD, and he's on the spectrum. I know a lot of parents that will just give up right then. Okay, fine. They have ADD, they have HD, we're going to use the following drugs, and he's on the spectrum, so we're going to put him in these classes, and that's the end of it. That's it. It's that simple. I had a neighbor, and her grandchild fit that category, and it was just, well, that's the way it is. No, it isn't. Not unless that's what you want it to be. And so this mom and her boyfriend just, okay, fine, that's the label the doctors are giving him. That's called a diagnosis. That's fine. That's their thoughts. But we're going to feed him healthy. We're going to feed him, pretty healthy green diet. Being a typical kid, he doesn't like anything. Let's live on French fries and hot dogs. So I said, no, get a smoothie going. Use a smoothie, and you can put anything you want in a smoothie, and anything tastes good with almond milk or coconut milk. And it works. And he's eating healthy even when he doesn't know he's eating healthy. And that's great. That's fine. Limiting time on the laptop, limiting time on games, video games, very, very important. You've got to really watch the stimulation, because these kids, ADD, ADHD, and kids on the spectrum are very easily overstimulated. So keep track of how much time they're really on the laptop, in front of a game, watching TV, anything like that. Get them outside, get them playing, kickball, playing with the dog, whatever it takes. Taking a walk. They need nature. They really, really do. This is important. Nature, music, art, books that will bring them back down and calm them back down. Meditation, prayer, whatever works for your family. But this mom and her boyfriend pulled out all the stops, whatever it took. They were there every step of the way. And he had his bad days. He had trying times, and she would call me and she would be crying, and she works full time, and it's stressful. And I would say, it's okay, because tomorrow's going to be better. This is why he was upset. We know why he was upset. We also know why he acted out. So we would talk it through and it would be okay. And now he is just blooming. I'm just so very, very proud of him. But it's up to the parents what to do with that diagnosis. Don't let it limit your child. Please, I am asking you, do not let a diagnosis, a label, limit your child. Nurture, foster their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations. I have no doubt this kid is either going to be a musician or some kind of mathematical genius, if not both, because that's just him. That's just who he is, and he's great with animals too. Find out your child's interest and promote it, encourage it, nurture it. Even if it seems a little wacky sometimes, explore it with them. Let them find out. You know, some kids are interested in dinosaurs, and some kids are interested in baking or design. Fine, it doesn't matter. Let them explore it. Explore it with them. Make it a family project. It's a good thing. If your child is nonverbal, and there are kids out there that are nonverbal, as we know, it's not the end of the road. There are communication buttons. Now, they have communication keyboards, which early on I feel can be very overwhelming for a child or for anyone that's nonverbal. They're brought a keyboard and it's like you have 30 choices. Oh my gosh, it's just too much. Start out with like 3 or 4 buttons, big buttons, and find out their likes, their dislikes, their interests. You can do this. Kids, in my opinion, who are autistic, kids on the spectrum, they just see life differently. Their brains are wired differently than ours. Some are overly sensitive to sound, light, touch, smell, taste. How many of us that have not been labeled with anything are really sensitive to smells or tastes? I don't like loud sounds. I never have. So I don't have my TV blaring. Even when my son was little, fine to watch cartoons, but we're not going to turn it all the way up. Well, that doesn't mean anything. That's just my preferences. So they're just viewing life through their lens. They're easily stimulated. Keep that in mind. Try to have a healthy diet. Nothing wrong with that. Try to find out their interests. Do they like music? They may not. Do they like books? And I know you're saying, I can't sit and read a book to my nonverbal child all day. No, but there are audio books that they can listen to. There's poetry they can listen to. There's all kinds of things out there. Just support them, nurture them, and give them the opportunity to find out what their interests are and explore them. What if somebody had given up on Stephen Hawking? Brilliant man. It would have been very easy for parents to say, no, but that didn't happen. Believe in your child. Have faith in your child. Have faith in yourself. I'm not saying the doctors are wrong. I'm not saying that at all. Work together as a team and just let your child soar. Labels are not a prison. They're just a label. They're just that. Nurture your child, and your child can be anything they want to be.